Okay, today we are going to discuss about Ansible. What is Ansible? Okay, so Ansible is an open source IT automation tool that automates provisioning, configuration management, application deployment, orchestration, and many other IT manual IT processes. Right. So normally we call it as configuration management tool. Okay, Ansible in general we call it as configuration management tool. Using this we can provision, we can manage this configuration management, application deployment, orchestration, and many other things we can do. Means basically we can automate. Okay, so this is the definition it is saying, right? um but let me tell you the actual means in low level to understand it easily. For example for example you have 5 EC2 instances. Okay, 5 Linux instances you have. Okay, one, two, three, four, five. Like this, you have multiple EC2 instances. I asked you to install Java on all of these machines. What do you do? As of the knowledge, whatever you have till today, how you install Java on this all these machines? You'll connect to this, right?
Install on that and create AMI. From AMI, we'll create instances.
Yes, that is good option. So you can install that. But I already have missions. If I don't have missions, then that is the okay, you can do it. But I already created my instances. Now I want to install on that. How you do? That is a good idea. That is a good option actually. If I want Java on 10 or 5 missions, you install on one, create an AMI out of it, and using AMI, you can launch other instances. That is fine. But I already have my instances. What do you do?
We'll create images, sir, using Docker.
No, how that will run as an application. Can you install Java? You'll
Server
connect to
copy
one,
option.
you'll connect to this, install it here. Again, you will connect to other thing, execute the same commands. Again, you will connect to the other thing, install the same commands. Like that, you will do on everything, right? So now, when this is the case, again, one more option, one more scenario. I have a Java application which I want to deploy on 3 Tomcats. On these 3 servers, I want to deploy. If you want to deploy it in a single Tomcat, single server, we use Jenkins deploy to container plugin. But at a time, I want to deploy it 3 places. 3 places. Deploy to container plugin will not work here. Then how? Right? Here, Ansible will come into picture. What is that? Is among these missions, whatever the missions you have, consider one as a master. Consider one as a master. So this master concept, slave concept, we learn n number of times so far, right? Master Kubernetes master worker nodes, Jenkins master slave configuration. Same like that, one you have to declare as a master. So how to declare as a master is you have to install Ansible. So wherever you install Ansible, that will become as a master. Wherever you install Ansible, that will become as a master. Okay, fine. So this I declared as a master. Now, so using this master, when I install Java, it has to communicate with all the missions and install Java, right? So when I want to make a communication from here to there, from master to slave configuration, somehow I want to make the communication. Okay, we'll see that how we'll make the communication. For now, just think we have made the communication with all the slaves. Okay, all the slaves we made a communication. So these are all my slaves. Now, if I give any instruction to my master to execute something, right, it will go and execute on all my slaves, right? So where you give the instructions on your master, that is called as playbook. Playbook. Okay. So wherever you give the instructions, right? I want to install Java. Where you write it? You write it on master. Okay, on master only, what is the file you are going to use? That is called as playbook. So playbook should be written in a file which has .yaml or .yml extension. Okay, YAML or YML extension. So in that file you have to write, like in Kubernetes also we have seen the YAML syntax is YAML file writing, right? So like that here also there will be some format. In using that YAML format only, you have to write some playbooks. Now when I execute a playbook, how come your master knows that I want to execute on all this? First, you have to make the communication, and there will be one more file called as inventory. There will be one more file called as inventory. Inside this inventory, you have to give the host names or IP addresses of your slaves. Okay, for example, slave 1 IP. Okay, slave 2 IP, slave 3 IP, slave 4 IP. Like this, we have to give the all the IP addresses. So I already made whenever my playbook wants to communicate with this IP addresses, how it will communicate through SSH. For that, I already made the communication. But again, I'll write those IP addresses in the inventory. And now whenever I execute a playbook, it is going to execute on all the IP addresses which are mentioned in the inventory. So what inventory contains? Inventory contains the IP addresses of our slaves, right? Next, playbook contains the actual task we have to perform. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, in this inventory, for example, we discussed one scenario starting of this session, right? I want to install Java on all the missions. Now, if this is the case, I can install Java only on the saves, but not on the master. I want to consider my master also. My master also will work as a server, one instance for the deployments. So I want to install here also. Then you can give the master IP here. You can give the master IP here, or else local host also you can give. Local host means what? Local mission. So local host or master IP. Master IP. So now when I execute a playbook, on how many hosts it will execute? What are all there on the inventory, on all the missions, on all the IP addresses my playbook is going to execute. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
I created one more playbook for deploying my Java application in the clustered Tomcat of these 3 instances. Now, when I run the playbook, on how many instances it will try to deploy? Inventory, I place all 5, but I want to deploy only on the first 3. How to do that is you can group them. You can group them in the inventories. In the inventory, you can group like this. Inventory. You can write any IP address. For example, slave 1 IP, like next. Group 1, slave 2 IP, slave 3 IP, slave 4 IP. Next, master IP. I'll take it out also. We'll see this later. Let me keep it here. Now, tell me, okay, this is inventory. I forgot the heading. Okay. Okay, so this is my inventory file. These are not from any group. These are 5 IP addresses: slave 1, master IP, slave 2, 3, 4. These are my IP address of my instances. Now what I did is I grouped these 3. Now when I want to run a playbook on all the instances, there will be one parameter in this playbook, host equal to all. If you write in your playbook, right, before writing that Java installation task, before you writing, there will be one parameter in the playbook. When you write it, host equal to all. When you run this playbook, this is going to execute on all the IP addresses in your inventory. But instead of this, when, for example, I have another playbook I want to run, right? Here you have mentioned like this, host equal to group 1. Now, when I run a playbook, it is going to execute only on the instances which are part of this group, only on the IPs which are part of this group 1. Understood, guys? Like this, if you want to run a playbook, you can run on all. If you want to group them for different purpose, you have some IP addresses you want to group, you can group them, and you can run your playbook only on those IPs. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next, sir, how to write that playbook? How to write that playbook, right? In a YAML format. In a YAML format, I said. Okay. But using this, what we'll do? For example, I want to install Java, means normally what we will do, yum install, something like that we will do. If you want to install Jenkins, yum rep, something we will do, and then what we will do, then service command, something we will start with that service command, service Jenkins, start like that. Yes or no? So
Yes, sir. Yes.
for most of the Linux commands, there are equivalent modules in Ansible. Yum command in Red Hat, right? In Linux, what we call yum command, but here it is a module, yum module. There is service command is there in Linux, but here service module is there. There wget is there, wget. Here get URL, one command, copy command, copy module. Like that, for most of the commands, there are equivalent modules in Ansible. Understood, guys? Yes or no, man?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, one more thing, one important point. Similar like Ansible, there are Chef and Puppet, CHEF Chef and PUPPET Puppet. There are those two are the common tools which are like Ansible only. So in that, Ansible works on push based. Salt also similar like Ansible. Okay, Chef, Puppet, Salt, Ansible, these are the tools, right? So in that, Ansible is more popular. In this, Chef and Puppet works based on pull based, whereas Ansible works based on push based. What is mean by this push based? Okay, see here, pull based means to communicate from master, there will be an agent. There will be an agent on each node, which will be responsible to take the instructions from master, right? It will listen to that instructions and execute on the slave. So whatever the instruction given by master, it will execute here. But for Ansible, that and Salt also, for Ansible and Salt, that agent is not required. And master, for example, in a playbook, I am using yum module. What master will do is it will pull that module, it will push that module, it will push that module to the slaves, execute there. Once the task is done, it will remove that module. So the memory is also saved. So whenever you are executing a module here, the module that, for example, if there will be some script, internal script, right, that will be pushed here, executed there, and then it will automatically remove also. That is Ansible works based on push based, whereas Ansible and Salt works based on push based, whereas Chef and Puppet work based on pull based. Okay. Okay. Next, one more important point is it is going to remove the models when it pushes the module from here to here. Okay, it will push the module, but once the module got executed, it is going to remove that. All right. So that is one thing. Next, Ansible models are idempotent. Ansible is idempotent. Ansible models are idempotent, like that we call. What is that? Ansible behaves in this idempotent model. What is that? Is when you try to install something. For example, I want to install a tree command on all 4 machines. So I'll write a playbook to install tree. So when you try to write a playbook and execute that playbook, you will mention one state for that the tree command, right? Using yum module, you will try to install tree command, wget command, some commands you want to install it here. So when you define the state equal to present, so what does that mean is tree, right? Tree present means tree command should be present on this. So it will try to go and check here whether it is present or not. If it is present, it will not execute that command, right? It will not retry to install. For example, if you don't know whether I'm installing yum install tree, right? It will tell, hey, yum is already present, right? Like that. But before installing it, it will check the state whether yum is whether the tree command is already present or not. If not present, it will install it. If it is already present, it will not reinstall once again. Once again, it will not reinstall. It will just ignore. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
And we can gather facts also. By default, this is one more topmost interview question. By default, gathering facts are enabled. Facts or gathering facts are enabled in Ansible. So what does that mean? And that gathering task is the first task it is going to execute in playbook. So what does that mean is, for example, if you have an Ansible playbook, you can write multiple tasks. I want to install tree command. I want to install Tomcat, and in that I want to deploy Jenkins Wrapper. Like this, in one playbook, you can write multiple tasks. So before executing all these tasks, there will be one default task which is executed. That is nothing but gathering facts. So what is the mean by this gathering facts is, you are going to run this playbook. This playbook is going to run on all these inventories. If you are going to run this playbook, this playbook is going to run on all the IPs under this group, right? So before executing your playbook, the first task means before executing the actual tasks of your playbook, Ansible will execute one task called as gathering facts. What that gathering facts will do is, it will get the information of your instances. So for this, the information of these instances, for this playbook, information of all instances, all IPs, it will get it. Means what type of operating system it is, whether it is Red Hat or something else, how much RAM is there, what is the physical size, what is its private IP address, everything like that information, it is going to get this. So when it is going to get the information of each instance, right, first task it is executing the deep gathering functions, it will gather the information of your task. Then you can write conditions. I want to execute this task only if the RAM size is more than this, if free RAM is this, if it is Red Hat, I have to execute this command. If it is Ubuntu, I have to execute this. So it will get the information whether it is a Red Hat or Ubuntu, right? I'll write, if the instance is Red Hat, I'll have to execute this. If it is Ubuntu, I want to ignore this, right? If it is Ubuntu, I have to execute this. On Red Hat machines, I want to ignore this. Such conditions also you can write. Understood, guys?
Yes, sir.
So by default, gathering facts will be enabled. Can we disable that gathering facts? Yes. How to disable? Gather underscore facts equal to no, we have to write, right? I'll show you that. Gather underscore facts equal to no. That is, you can find it in the document also. That way you can get it. Understood, guys? Is it clear? By default, gathering facts are enabled. If you want, we can disable. But when we disable, the conditions we should not write. Why? Because if you write a condition, if you're not gathering the facts, that will fail. Yes or no? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Gathering facts will collect all the information regarding the instance, right, sir?
Yes, exactly.
Means, if suppose if we are doing for SonarQube, if it is already installed or not, it will check.
See, yeah, yes, whatever it is, not the installation, man. Not the installation,
Okay.
man.
Only
Information about the instance. Information
Okay.
of the instance, right? Whether what type
Okay.
of instance it is, like that and all, it is going to get the information. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.